All right. So I think we've shown a good. Oh, I was like, what is that? Oh, it is a T-Rex. That's good. Jurassic Park style. Way to bring that shit back. So we've already done a couple different varieties of these questions. Now let's make it a little bit tougher though by taking away an extra variable. All right. So it says here, Dill Dough Incorporated has reported the following income statement. All right. We have sales, variable costs, contribution margin, fixed costs, and of course the corresponding income. It says, given this information, what must be Dill's sales volume in dollars to achieve a target net operating income of $100,000? Okay? You're like, okay, well, let's go back to the old trusty formula, right? Let's just, go back to defaulting. There we go. Profit equals selling price times number of units minus variable cost times number of units minus fixed costs, right? But you're like, well, wait a second here. This is some sneaky, fuck that noise, right? It turns out we are not given, right, the number of units for which, like, where's this information come from? I mean, when they make $200,000, it's great. How many units did they sell? And the answer is, we have no idea, right? You're like, oh, shit, and that's something, right? So by virtue of not knowing, right, we got to be a little bit crafty here. So what you may want to do here is you go, well, see, if I told you we sold like 100 units or something like that, you would take that sales of $200,000 and you divide it by 100. But that's not given in this question, so what do we do then, right? Well, let's see, okay? We would say, all right, well, selling price times X. Selling price per unit times the number of units is just plain old sales. Make sense? I misspelled the word sales. S-A-L-E-S. Sorry, I was trying to write salsa or something because I'm fat. All right, so sales, right, minus variable cost times X. That's just plain old variable costs overall, right? Total variable costs, right, minus the fixed costs. Well, don't we know, though, that the variable costs are $120,000 and the sales are $200,000? In other words, what? Variable cost is $120,000 over $200,000, right? $120,000 over $200,000. It turns out variable costs are 60% of the sales. Isn't that sneaky? Right? Variable costs, you're not told exactly what they are per unit. It's not like it's a $2 per unit variable cost or something, but you're instead just told they're 60% of sales. So, okay, cool. Well, now we can sort of fill this out and do a little bit of extra algebra. The profit that we're looking for is $100,000. If it just said break even, we do just, zero there, but it did kind of add a little bit more of a convolution to the problem and say what do we have to do to get a profit of $100,000? Equals selling price times X, we're just going to call sales. Okay? Sales. Minus what? Well, I know that variable costs are 60% of the sales, guys. Let's say it one more time. Variable costs are 60% of the sales. In algebra and math and everything, of means what, guys? Good. Of means multiply. So 0.6 times sales is what the variable cost is. Make sense? We know variable cost is 60% of sales. 60% of sales. So the fixed costs are also given to us as what? Good. Those are $60,000. Okay, $60,000. Well, now we feel pretty good. Let's start, plowing through this. I'm going to add 60,000 to both sides real fast. So we have $160,000 equals what? Well, remember, intrinsically there's a 1 in front of that variable, right? So like 1x minus 0.2x gives you 0.8x. Similarly, 1 sales minus 0.6 sales will give you 0.4 times sales. Makes sense? 0.4 times sales. So if we divide both sides by 0.4, we will get $400,000 are the sales, right? $400,000 are the sales. That's some tricky shit. So again, of course, that gives us this answer, but I want to make sure you guys are clear on how the questions will be presented. So there is the possibility that you're given like information like we have here, right? Like you have here, but you're told what the number of units are, in which case you divide them out. However, if you're not told the number of units, you got to go all ambiguous on this and say, well, all we have to do is figure out what variable costs are as a percent of sales. Okay, what variable costs are as a percent of sales. And of course, by definition, then, while we're here just for fun, what is the CM ratio? Good question. What is the CM ratio in this example? Good. It's got to be 0.4 or 40%, right? If variable costs are 60% of sales, doesn't it stand to reason that what? Good. That contribution margin must be the rest or the other 40%. Good? All right. Tough question, right? But again, you guys, hopefully it's coming back. Hopefully you're like, oh, all right, I get that little bit of variety. And again, you'll have a good amount of these on the exam, so make sure they're meant to be easy questions. So make sure to make them easy for yourself and tear them up. I'll see you guys in a little bit.